Hey guys, I just wanted to take a moment and respond to something I've been seeing a lot online. It's reaction and criticism of the movie Me Before You from the disabled community. And first of all, let me briefly say that sorry for my scruffy look today. I've been at annual conference all week and am now on a spiritual formation training retreat and doing this blog on the fly. So there you go. But I have to, I'm just going to briefly share some thoughts about the movie and the story from Me Before You. And that is really this. I think a lot of the criticism is warranted because the story of Me Before You, of course, is the man who becomes paralyzed and falls in love with his caregiver, and then the caregiver works through with him the process of deciding to end his life because of the effects of his paralysis. And I really have two or three main concerns around this. I just am really frustrated at the mainstream culture's depiction of disability as always being framed in the concept of tragedy. And there is no sense in the mainstream culture right now that disability can be anything but a disaster or something to be lamented or suffered through. There is no real sense if depictions like those in Me Before You are what we're getting, that a person can live a healthy and beneficial life to the rest of society and for themselves. If depictions like that in Me Before You are what we get, because it's this conflation of disability with unhealthiness or sickness that's only reinforced when all we're given is the tragic narrative. So I caution the friends of mine in the larger culture that this is not the only way to tell the disabled story. Many people with disabilities live healthy lives, live productive lives, live emotionally productive lives. And that's another thing about what you see in Me Before You. You only see the emotion of anger associated with disability. You only see the emotion of lament and tragedy and bitterness. You don't see the joyful perspectives and funny humor that carry through the disabled culture, not to undersell the frustration that often comes along with the disability. Not at all. I, having cerebral palsy, understand that as good as anybody, but it's not a well-rounded picture of what a disabled life is when we only have a tragic lens. And I guess really, for me as well, it really undersells and one-dimensionalizes the issue around end of life and assisted suicide. These are deeply heartfelt emotional issues. And to paint them in one direction only or the other direction only is really a tragedy. it really strips the issue of all its emotional weight and circumstance when you make it heroic, or when you tie it in with romance. It's very dangerous to do that, not only on an individual level, but on a cultural level, because it reinforces to the larger culture that you have a disability, you must be looking for a way out. And you must be your only quality of life is the way you're seen through someone else's eyes. And if you can't be seen or understood through a physically able-bodied person's eyes, then you must want a way out. And not only does that play into the way we treat the concept of assisted suicide and emotional dependence in this country, it strips the disabled community of any ability to find validity from just being a human and existing for their own right and for their own good. Because when our only reflection as disabled people in the larger culture is how we interact and are seen by the non-disabled community, that really strips and goes against what my organization, the Julian Way, is all about. Is that disability is God's way of showing diverse embodiment, and that everybody has a voice in their own right and for their own human experience to be a God-given gift. And community with other people is good and grace-filled and valuable. But my responsibility as a person with a diverse embodiment is to be good to myself and to honor what God has given me, not to necessarily wait on the reflection that I cast in relationship with my able-bodied wife or my partner to give me value. So I really have some deep issues with not only Me Before You, the movie, but the way that disabled people are depicted in a lot of artistic and the drama culture at large. So those are just a few of my thoughts and reflections. I'm sorry it's a little bit late. I tried to do this last week and had problems uploading it. Hopefully this works out. So I just invite your feedback and your comments to the Julian Way on Facebook and the Julian Way on Twitter. We're at the Jewel Way on both places, or at both places. And I invite good conversation. Thanks, guys. Bye.